Okay, in this episode, we're going to talk about why economic modeling is the fastest way to transform the Caribbean economies. I'm going to show you why economic modeling is one of the fastest ways to transform the economy. And if you don't believe me, I'm a senior economist with 24 years of experience, and I know what I'm saying this. So stay with me in this episode if you really want to know what is happening beyond COVID 19. I have a statement today. Economic modeling, what I've been doing for 24 years, is the fastest way to transform the Caribbean. So stay with me. Okay, if you don't know me, my name is Ronnie Calmera, and every Friday I bring you the data analysis and policy show. If this is the first time here, um, I have 24 years of experience in economics in the Caribbean, and I have a bold statement. I have a bold statement that says economic modeling is one of the fastest way, it's the fastest way to um, to transform the Caribbean economies. Now, I'm going to show you three three reasons why this statement is true. Right now, the COVID pandemic has shown us that there are a lot of things changing, a lot of things changing at the same time. So what do I mean? There is the global economy contracting. There is something happening with the reserve position, the reserve status of the dollar. So the dollar is the main currency in the world, and there is something happening. At the same time, there is something happening with the oil prices. There is something happening with the tourism sector. There is something happening with the food prices. Okay? So that you cannot comprehend that. If you are an economist, there are so many things happening all the time, and you cannot comprehend that. There are so many things interrelated. So that's the statement number one, why economic modeling is the fastest way to transform the economy. Because with economic modeling, you will be looking at all those variables, all those things that I stated together at the same time. So we are not talking anymore about isolating one specific thing. We're talking about how we can see all those things happening in the Caribbean, happening in the world together. Economic models, they will help you put all those variables, all those factors together. That's the reason number one. Reason number two, look at all the data who's coming our way. If you are a small Caribbean island policy advisor, or if you are the labor union person, or if you are the minister of economic development, there is so much data all the time. If you look at the stocks, the stock market, all the data of, for instance, the cruise ship companies, the data, the stocks data about the airplanes, the stock data about the oil companies, the stock data about the renewable energy companies, the stock data about maybe fuel cell companies, the companies producing fuel cells. So there is so much data, and you have to take the data into account. So economic models will help you put all that data in a framework. That's why to transform your economy, you need to look at all the data. Now, there are some people who says, I don't look at data. I'm only writing a policy note. I'm only writing my master plan. I'm only writing what other people, what the public wants to hear. I'm looking at the data. So in our data, in our world, there are data scientists, and those data scientists they use programming languages like Python to collect all that data, streamline that data, get to the basics. I know some wealth managers. They are looking at the graphs every day. They are looking at the graphs of stocks. They are looking at the graphs of at the data of the income statements of companies or of the balance of companies. They are looking data of the cash flow of the companies. If you are not data minded, if you are not focused on the data, then you cannot know what is happening right now. If I tell you that the dollar has decreased with 10% recently, what is that data telling you? How are you going to see that in your reasoning? You see? So if you are in the Caribbean, if you are looking at the Caribbean and you are not looking at the data, you're not looking at the data, then you are not looking at the future. That's it. So simple as that. Now, one of the data, for instance, in the Caribbean is the budget deficit. The budget deficit. I come from Curacao, and I've seen that the budget deficit of Curacao has grown tremendously. The balance of payment deficit in the Caribbean. That's another data, another indicator. The balance of payments saying that the exports are lower than the imports. Okay? So data is key. Now, in economic models, the data is a key component because you are not relating things together. You are relating things together, but you have a history of data, a past history of data. Okay? That is the second reason, so the data, why economic models is the fastest way to transform the Caribbean economies. You cannot be transforming a Caribbean economy if you are not looking at the data. That's why when I build economic models, the first thing I do is I look at all the data available, whether it is in IMF, International Monetary Funds reports, whether it is in the balance of payments, whether it is in the fiscal sector, whether it is in the labor sector, labor surveys, whether it is in the census, whether it is population data, you need to look at the data. I'm giving you an example. Data, how data is relevant. I'm reading a book right now which is talking about why the dollar is going to collapse. And they are looking at the data all the time. In that book, there are so many graphs of the data. They are proving everything with data. They're looking at the current account deficit, which is the exports minus the imports for the United States. They are looking at the data compared to who is exporting to the United States, China, Asian economies. They are looking at the data, and then based on the data, they are looking at the past trends, and they are projecting the future. You see? So data is very important. So if you are in the Caribbean and you are not looking at the data, my friend, that is going to be a tricky business you are in. And the third reason, let me give you the third reason why economic modeling is the fastest way to transform the Caribbean. Scenarios, simulation. I love this topic. Scenarios and simulations. If the COVID pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic, has shown us that the future is volatile. The future, we don't know what's going to happen in the future. Now, with a scenario, with a simulation, you can simulate what is going to happen. So I'm not saying we can predict the future, but you can simulate what is going to happen. Okay? What if we stay for another year in this COVID pandemic, 19 pandemic? What if we do not open our borders for the United States? Many Caribbean islands are dependent on the United States for their stayover tourists, for their cruise tourists. Okay? Now, right now, the economy is contracting. We are expecting that there are elections in November this year, and then you don't know what's going to happen with the United States economy. Okay, there is a huge contraction in the economy. There is a high unemployment in the economy. So how can you look at that? Now, with an economic model, you can run simulations for the future. You can run simulations about what if this happens. What do I mean? What if we do not get any tourists for the next years? What if the tourists bounce back with 20%? What if the cruise tourists increase with 25%? What if the oil price increases back? What if there is another pandemic? What if, what if, what if, what if, what if? You see, so a scenario is scanning the future. And with economic models, you can scan the future. So that's my topic. And that is my view about why economic modeling is the fastest way to transform the Caribbean. Okay? One, so many variables, complex world, you cannot comprehend that. And economic modeling is right now an economist, a policymaker, a minister, a secretary general, a permanent secretary, a senior policy advisor, junior policy advisor. They can start with economic modeling, and that's the fastest way to transform the Caribbean economies. Okay? Because you have all the data, because all you have all the variables, the relevant variables, and you can run simulations. Okay, so if you want to know more, then I have something for you. I have something free for you if you want to get more into this topic. So let me close this episode and then give you something for free. So what do I have for you? I have something. I'm building a community, and the community of people who want to transform the Caribbean economies. This community of people, they are using economic models. They are using economic models. And they are using economic models. I've built economic models, for instance, for 12 islands in the Caribbean, all the 8 islands of the Eastern Caribbean. Then I've also built one for Curacao, my beautiful Curacao. St. Martin, I'm currently building one for Aruba. Then I built one for Turks and Caicos. Then I built one for Jamaica. And I'm also building one for Belize. So my goal is to create macroeconomic models for all the islands in the Caribbean. And then we also will create macroeconomic models for the 58 small islands in the world. So I know what I'm talking about. If you are interested, if you want to join the community of people who wants to transform the Caribbean economies, transforming it for a better future of the people, if you have a vision, you want to run scenarios, you want to have the data, you want to have all the relevant indicators, you want to be on the top of your game, then I want you to join. I want you to join by going to CaribbeanStrategicBoardroom.com/waitlist, and then right away you will get a present from me. So join today, it's free, and then I will see you inside the CaribbeanStrategicBoardroom.com in the community of people who want to transform the Caribbean. So stay cool. See you next time. See you next time. Same time, same place on Friday. Bye.